All right, good afternoon. We have lots to go over today, so let's get started. Last class, we were learning about genotype and phenotype. And just to refresh your memory, genotype is the genetic makeup of an individual, which is basically describing what kind of alleles they are carrying. Okay. So far we learned that genes can have different versions, different alleles that exist. And even though there might be multiple alleles that exist in the population, for each gene, you can carry up to a maximum of two different alleles because we are diploid organisms. We have two sets of chromosomes, okay? So a person can be big A, big A, big A, or small a, small a, if we are just looking at two different alleles, okay? If the alleles are the same, big A, or small a, what's the term that we use to describe that? If they are the same, not homologous,
Or hetero. Wait.
same. If they are the same, yeah, homozygous. That's right. So if they are the same, then we say homozygous. What's another name for homozygous? Pure. There you go. And if they are different, then it is heterozygous or hybrid. That's right. Think of those cars nowadays. Okay, hybrid. Okay. So by telling you in the question whether something is homozygous or heterozygous, you would be able to tell whether they're the same letter, as in like same uppercase, lowercase, or if it's one of each. Is that okay? Now, the phenotype is the manifestation of the gene, right? As in like the expression of the gene and how it ends up showing up in the individual, okay? Two people with the same phenotype can possibly have different genotypes, okay? The person with big A will, in some cases, have the same phenotype as the person with big A and small a. Okay, you won't be able to tell until you do some investigation based on their family history and things like that. However, if someone is having a phenotype for the recessive trait, then it's guaranteed to be lowercase a, lowercase a. Do you remember we had this discussion on yeah? Whenever I saw you, like Tuesday. I'm sorry. Okay, so Mendel, Gregor Mendel, which is this guy, okay? He did a lot of experiment with peat plants, okay? Like the frozen pizza you can buy at the supermarket, right? I've only seen the green ones in my entire life. I've never seen yellow ones, but apparently they exist, okay? And peat plants are very convenient for doing genetic studies at the time because number one, they are easy to grow. Number two, you can cross-breed the plants the way you want it. Okay? If I want this plant to have babies with this plant, I just take the pollen and then pollinate it, right? So you have very good control as to what the parents are going to be combining to create offsprings, and they grow pretty fast. Okay, you don't want to be waiting, 2 or 3 years before you can see the offsprings. Right, peat plants grow extremely fast. In matters of months or sometimes weeks, you would be able to see the results already. Okay, so he did a bunch of experiments, and then he found out that certain traits in the peat plants are dominant over other traits. For example, a round seed is going to be dominant over wrinkle, a yellow is dominant over green, and so on and so forth. I am going to show you his one of his experiments and guide you through it, and hopefully you will understand how to figure out if something is dominant or if something is recessive. Okay, so basically, I mean, like we have the benefit of hindsight because we already know the result of the experiment. But basically, he had two plants. Okay, for example, he had a plant, plant one, and it's round seed, and he observed this plant and all the plants that comes after it, right, is always round. And then another generation is always round. Because plants you can self-pollinate, right? You can you know what self-pollinate means? Okay, great. So you can self-pollinate and it will be round and round and round, and it's always round. Okay. So he observed that the plant always produce round seed, and that led him to conclude that this plant is pure, round. It's always round, in other words. Okay. And other word for pure is true breed. Okay. True breed, pure, homozygous, they all mean the same thing. Right? And then he has another plant. He had another plant number 2, and this one is wrinkled. And wrinkled, and again, it's always wrinkled for generations. This one is always wrinkled. Right? And if you see a wrinkle for many generations, it's safe to assume that this one is also pure. Okay? You with me so far? So he wondered what would happen if the round plant crosses with the wrinkle plant. Okay? And that's what his experiment. Okay, we'll come back to this in a bit. So over here, there is a round plant, and then there is a wrinkle plant. And I mean, like we know now the round is the dominant one, but he didn't know. Okay, but that's okay. We'll put big R for this one. And then this one is small r, because round is dominant, right? Okay. Now, we have how many alleles for each gene? One person got it. Okay. Good. Okay. How many alleles do we have for each gene? 2, right? My goodness, 2. Big A, or like big A, or small a, right? Because we're diploid, right? Okay. Now listen carefully. Even though we have two alleles for each gene, how many of those alleles do we pass on to the next generation? Just 1, right? Because during meiosis, the chromosome separates. Okay. So Mendel understood that, and he had a law for it. It's called the law of segregation. Segregation means to separate. Right? I'll read it to you first. During formation of gametes, each gene separates from each other so that each gamete, sperm or egg, pollen or egg, carries only 1 allele for each gene. Okay? Basically, what this is saying is, if you have big B and small b, then they will separate. And if we're talking of sperm, it will only be carrying big B or small b, not both. Okay? That's right. So 50% chance it will carry the big B, 50% chance it will carry the small b, right? So that's what happens here, right? So let's take a look at this gamete here. It doesn't matter whether you put the round one on the top or the round one on the side. It will not change the result. So we have big R here, and the gamete is either going to be big R or big R. There's no other choice, right? Similarly, for the wrinkle one, it's going to be small r or small r. Right? So this plant will only be producing big R gametes, and this plant will only be producing small r gametes. Okay? So what happens if these 2 gametes come together to fertilize? What's going to be the genotype of the offspring? Big R, small r, right? Yeah. And then the next one is also big R, small r, big R, small r, big R, small r. We always write the capital letter before we write the lowercase letter. Okay? So this is called a Punnett square. You'll be doing a lot of this for quiz number 4. Okay? What's the probability? Well, there are 4 outcomes, and they are all big R, small r, right? So it's 100% big R, small r, which means they are 100% round or wrinkle? Round, right? Very good. So back to here, he did it for a bunch of other traits. He didn't just do it for round and wrinkle. He did it for like yellow and green, inflated pods and deflated pods. And this is what he found. I'll write out for you, but I'll say it first. Okay. What he found is when you cross two pure plants with different traits, right, the dominant trait will show up 100% of the time in their offspring. One more time. I'll write on the board here. Two parents that are pure for two different traits of the same character will produce offspring with the dominant trait 100% of the time. It sounds more complicated than it really is. Okay. So let's say I have the mouse here. Okay. And then we have the gray mouse. And then we have the white mouse. Okay, this is pure gray and pure white. Okay. I don't know which one is dominant. Okay, I don't know if gray is dominant or white is dominant. No idea. But I let them live in the same cage and let them have babies. Okay. And then I found out 100% of the babies are gray. So what does that tell you? Which one is dominant? Gray is dominant. There you go. And this is recessive. Understand? Whenever the parents are pure for a trait of the same character. Okay, I cannot be talking about like gray fur and then like blue eyes or something. It has to be the same character. Okay, same like same thing, right? Same category. Okay, then the offspring will tell you which one is dominant. All right.
So then, wait, I have a question. So
Sure.
then let's say if there's like, so why is that not the same for like skin color?
Why?
Like if there's like two different.
Yeah, okay. I might not be able to get to it today, but we will.
Oh.
Yeah. Again, this is introduction, right? Not everything is clear-cut dominant and recessive, okay? You can have a red flower and breed it with a white flower, and guess what you get? Pink. Yeah. Ooh, how does that work, right? Okay, we're gonna get to that later. Okay. Anyways, the key point is he did it for a bunch of characters. Okay, and in he took the yellow and then he bred it with the green and found out 100% of the F1. F1 is the first generation. Okay, are yellow, so that's how he knew yellow is dominant. Do you understand? And so on and so forth, right? So by studying these kind of characters and traits in different organisms, we're able to figure out what's dominant and what's recessive. Okay, so again, E generation is the parent, and then F1 is the immediate generation after the parent. Okay, then what he did was he took two individuals from F1, and he crossed them. Okay, so again, for plants, it's easy to do. So let's take a look at what happened with the F2 generation. So these guys are from F1. From F1. So do we know their genotype from F1? What's their genetic makeup? Big R and? That's right. 100% is big R, small r, right? So go ahead, fill in the Punnett square, and then do the percentage. Okay? Do it. Okay, so it looks like I wasn't being very clear. I just checked the whole column and nobody got it in this column. But that's okay. We're gonna learn how to do it properly. This is two alleles, right? When the plant produce the gametes, the pollens, what's gonna happen to these alleles? They separate, that's right. So over here, one box would be big R, and then the other box would be, well, we do not put them in the same box. You hear me? If you ever have the same alphabet in the same box, you are doing it wrong. What about here on the side? What should I put? There you go. Okay. And then we're going to put them together, so on and so forth. All right? Got it? You understand what I mean? No?
One more time.
One more time. Okay, one more time. First of all, does everybody understand why we have big R and small r here? Yeah, this is from the previous generation, right? So two alleles, but the two alleles during meiosis will separate. Only one will get passed on to each of the gametes. Now, in this case, the gametes are pollens, right? So that's why we have big R here and small r here. Basically, you separate the letters and only one go into each box. All right? What do we do next? We're going to pick this big R and we're going to combine it with this big R. Okay? So what's the answer? Big R. That's right. Okay? Go on and do the other three boxes.
I have a question for you.
Sure. Okay. Okay.
Don't worry.
That's right. Yeah. But then we have to put the capital before the lowercase. And that's what
Yeah, I agree. So.
So we put the three. What? Yes. But for three genomes, oh, genomes. They think about it. They got it? Yeah. Maybe try to may I? Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
I like this. Yeah, second line.
Okay, so that's big R. And this is big R, small r, right? Big R, small r, small r, small. Okay, let's do genotype first. Okay, we have big R, big R, small r, small r, small r. What percent is big R, big R? Big R. 25, right? 1 out of 4, right? That's 25. Remember, we're doing genotype. We're doing the genetic makeup, not what it looks like. What about big R, small r? 2 out of 4, right? And then over here, 25%. Very good. Let's do phenotype now. What are the possible phenotypes? What are the possible phenotypes? What kind of character are we looking at? Are we looking at yellow versus green? What are we looking at? Wrinkle, yeah, shrivel, yeah, that's okay. So what percent would be round? You sure? 75, right? Look, that is round, isn't it? That's also round. That's also round. 3 out of 4, which is 75%, which goes back to what I was trying to tell you earlier. If they look the same, doesn't necessarily mean they have the same genetic makeup, right? Okay. What percent is wrinkle? 25%.
We have to do this on a test.
You absolutely have to do this on the test, yes. Brown is dominant, yes. We have our quiz is not until like next week, right? Okay, so like you're gonna be okay. Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you, this is very important. I have to take my dad to medical appointment next Tuesday. I can't make it back to campus on time, so we will have it online for next Tuesday. Okay, I'll send you the information. Sorry. Yeah. My dad has Parkinson's, so I need to take him to the doctor. Okay, let's go through this. If red flower is dominant over white flower, right, write the genotype for each flower. So what you have to do on the test is you have to come up with your own letters. Okay. And we typically use the letter for the dominant trait. So in this question, which one is dominant? Red. So we will say red is big R. Okay, big R. What should we use for whites then? Small r. Never different letters, okay? If we're talking about the same character, in this case, flower color, we have to use the same alphabet, okay? It might not sound like a big deal, but it is. You will get it wrong because later on, we're going to do more complicated questions, right? Okay, so you always use the same letter. Okay, homozygous red flower. What would the genotype of it be? Why don't you just go through it with people around you and then do all four? I'll give you a minute. Yeah, each of them is up. So you do this one first. Homozygous red.
Okay. So, I thought it was like, okay, which one's the X?
It's not a multiple choice question, guys.
No, but like.
Okay, homozygous red. Big R, right? Homozygous means the same. Right? That's why they're both capital. Yes. Okay. What about homozygous white? There you go. And then, because heterozygous means different, right? Okay. What about heterozygous white? But big R small R is red. Small R big R is the same as big R small R though. Yeah. Sorry, what? No, good try though. Not possible. Okay, not possible. This is like asking you to draw a circular square. It's a contradicting statement, okay? Not possible. You understand? Because listen, this is an actually important point. If it's white, then it cannot be heterozygous. If it's heterozygous, then it cannot be white. Okay? Which means on the test quiz, if I give you a question like this and I say a white flower, you automatically should know it is homozygous. Okay? You cannot be like, hey, you didn't tell me whether it's homozygous or heterozygous. How do I do the question? Well, you don't have to. I don't have to tell you explicitly. All recessive phenotypes are going to be homozygous. Okay? All right, let's go practice. I'll walk around, breathe down your neck, which is doing it right. Sure. I'll write down on the. So write down the parents first before you go too far. What are the parents? What's that? Hybrid with? Big R, big R, small r, or small r.
Yeah. No.
So the first thing you need to do is to figure out who the parents are. Okay, parents. Hybrid red. What's hybrid red? Big R, small r. Hybrid means different. Okay. Pure means the same. Cross with a white flower. Small r, right? Remember, white is recessive. That's why I don't have to tell you whether it's pure or hybrid, right? Okay, then you got to do the Punnett square. Punnett square looks like this, just like the tic-tac-toe. Okay, go ahead, do it. I'll come around and check. You understand? So this is these are the results, right? So 2 out of 4 positive big R, small r, so that's 50%. You have to write that separately to get that thing with that 50%. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. You don't have to put the 0%.
Oh, okay.
What is that again?
I did the one to put this color.
There's a big R, small r.
Yeah.
Small r. So you have big R, small r, yes. No, these are not very easy.
Yeah.
Big R, small r, or one parent. This small r, small. Understand?
If it's like I
Yeah, bold letters, only the capital letter will show up. And when you move over. Big R, small r. Round, round, round. You have 4, 7, 5, 8. Got it? You good? So put the big R here. Big R here. Small R here. No problem. Big R here, and then small R. And then this one, small R. All right. So this is big R, small r. Small r, right? So for genotype, it is 50% big R, small r, and 50% small r, small. Phenotype is what it looks like. Are these red or white? So 50% red and 50% white. Okay. Please try the next one. Now the same time, you put it together as a percent. So that'll be 2 out of 4, right? That's why it's 50%. Is it the new one or is it?
Wait, so for the phenotype, I would say 50% like brown eyes. 50% brown.
Also round, so it's 100%. But which one are you doing? This is the second one. The first one, so the first one here is, sorry, first one is big R, small r, small r. If it was like brown with the big R, right? So try this one if you can, please. Who's the parent? Can I see the parent? Parent? Okay, you guys should always start with the parent, okay? If the parent is wrong, everything is wrong. So you need to write down who the parent is. You got the parent? Write the parent. The parent. Can I see the parent? What is it? What's the Oh, that's the answer. But then I want you to on the page. I want you to write this cross that. Okay, yeah, but you're right. There you go.
Yeah.
You gotta write the parents first. Who's the parent?
Big R, yeah. Okay, who's big R? Red or white? What about, what is it? Is that how white up there? Good. That's good.
Oh, I didn't know. Yeah, they're the parents of the art.
Yes. Yeah, the right. That's good.
She cried. Any copy or doesn't? It's like, so say.
Don't need to write zero.
It's like lights is hybrid.
Write the parents as well. Like big R, big R. There you go, good.
Okay, 100% red, right? Did I check yours yet? Not white. White. What's white? Okay, just in case you didn't catch it. All right, one more time. Listen, please. Pure red is big R, big R. Cross, what's white? Little, right? Remember, for the recessive trait, you cannot have a capital letter. Okay? You have to write this down first as the first step. Right? So I can give you marks even if your other work is wrong. Remember, I told you quiz 4 statistically is the worst performing quiz of the whole course, right? Because there's a lot of these word problems on it. So make sure you break the trend, okay? Do better this year.
Okay, let's say I can write at the side, RR equals pure red, and then
Sure.
little r.
That's
But that's like the same thing.
That's the
It's
same
only
thing. Yeah, yeah.
equal.
Yeah. No, it's just for your sake, right? Like in case your work is wrong, I want to have other places to give you part marks, right? That's all, right? Are we okay? Ladies at the front, yeah. Okay. Okay, I'm not gonna do this yet. Right? This is gonna confuse the heck out of you. All right. We're gonna move on first. Now, I hope you are you guys okay? Do you need one more practice or you think you're okay? Yeah, okay. Okay for now. Okay. There are a lot of practices in the study guide. So please make sure you do that. Okay. The study guide answer is full written solution, right? So you can check your work as well. Right? Please do that. Now we are gonna do it a little bit harder. Okay. Pay attention. The stuff we have been doing so far, they are called monohybrid cross. Mono is what number? 1. So we have only been tracking one character. Okay, round wrinkle. That's one character. Okay, red and white. That's one character. Now we're going to be doing dihybrid crosses. Dihybrid crosses. So we will be tracking the shape as well as the color. Shape as well as the color. But first, there is another law. The first law was the law of segregation, which once again, all it is saying is that even though you have 2 alleles, those alleles will separate when you produce the gametes. Okay, you will either get the big A or the small a, not both, which is why we do not put both letters in the same slot on the Punnett square, right? Now, he has the second law. When you have two or more alleles, how do they get sorted into the gametes? I will do a few examples with you. Let's say we have big A, small a, and big B, small b. And let's say it's a male and we're producing sperms here. Okay. What are the possible combinations that we can get? Well, the first one can be
Big A, big B.
big A, big B. That's right. It can be big A, big B. Or it could be big A and next one. Small a, big B. Yeah. And then, do you understand? 4 different combinations. Have you guys done these stuff in math yet? Yeah, it's exactly like that, okay? Distributive property. Right? You just try to match it up. So what the law is saying is this. Just because the gamete inherited the big A does not necessarily mean you have to have the big B. You can have a big A and a small b. In other words, what happens with one gene has no effect on what happens to another gene. Okay? It's like you flipping a coin and I flip a coin. Whether you get heads or tail is not going to affect whether I get heads or tails. Understand? That's the law of independent assortment. Let's try another one. What if I have A, B, like this? Okay, let's write down the possible gametes. Okay, just write it out first. Don't yell it out. Write down the gametes. This is the genotype. What kind of gametes are they going to produce? Are there 4? I don't know. 2. That's right. Only 2 in this case. Because look, it can be big A and big B. And then it could be big A and then big A and big B is the same, right? So I don't need to write it again. Only 2. Okay? If you have a question, ask. Someone probably has the same question. Yeah, I know. Everybody's avoiding eye contact. Yes, please.
So I thought the capital letter is supposed to go first, but like on that one, it's.
Oh, good question. Capital letter of the same letter will go
Oh.
first. Yeah, so it's like big A and small a. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna take the note in a second, but first, I want to maybe do another one with you here. Okay, how many unique gametes could be produced through independent assortment if we look at 5 genes? Okay, right now in the example we just did, we look at 2 genes, right? Gene A and gene B. What if we have 5 genes like this? How many different gametes? Okay, so you're not gonna like list it all out. It's impossible, right? I mean, it's not impossible, but it's gonna take forever. This is what you do. How many choices for the first gene? 2 choices, right? Big A or small a. How many choices for the next one? How many choices for the next one? Just 1 choice, right? It's just big C. There's no other possibility. How about the next one? And then the next one. 1. So we go 2 times, we multiply them together. Okay? So the total possibility is 8. Yeah. Oh, was that an answer? Okay, good. Understand? It's like this, right? If you don't understand why we multiply, it's like this. If I flip a coin, it could be heads or tail, and then I roll a dice at the same time. It could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So total combination is 2 times 6. If you want to figure out the total combination, it's always the number of choice for each event multiplied together. All right? Okay, try this again. Yes.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me write on here.
Yes, yes. Now try again. Yes. Good. Yes. Okay. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, right? That's 2 to the exponent 5, 32. Right? All right, we're going to take a note now. A dihybrid means we are tracking two traits, tracking two characters at the same time. Give me a second. Okay, so this is P generation. Parent. P for parent. So they are pure, which also is called like purebred, pure breed, purebred. Right? And so how did he know they're pure? Well, again, for many generations, it has always been round and yellow. So we assume they're pure. It's a reasonable assumption, okay? And then wrinkle and green for many generations, so it's pure. Do you remember which one is dominant, round or wrinkle? Yeah, so big R is for round, little r is for wrinkle. How about yellow or green? Do you remember? Yeah, that's right. Very good. So Y for yellow, little y for green. Do not use different letters for the same character, please. And when you're doing the test, like it's important you do good handwriting, okay? Because people they do Y and Y and eventually they don't know. They can't tell whether it's big Y or small y anymore. Okay. And then you get it wrong. And don't use O. It's just stupid, okay? You use O, you can't tell if it's 0 or O, and then I'm just gonna give you 0, right? So don't do that. It sounds like a joke, but people actually have done that in the past. All right. So let's write down the genotype for the parents. It's pure, round, and yellow. Pure round would be, yes, but big R, right? And pure yellow, that's okay. Big Y, big Y. How about pure wrinkle and pure green? There you go. Okay, so what gametes are produced by this parent? How many different types of gametes? Just one. That's very good. It is big R and big Y. Okay, I'm going to put a bar here to separate the gametes of the parents. Do you understand why? It's big R? Yeah, okay. And then over here it is. That's right. the gametes or this part? The gametes, okay, so like big R with big Y, that's one. And then big R and big Y is the same one. And then the same one, and then the same one. So that's why I don't have to write it 4 times, right? It's the same thing repeated. Okay, so we're gonna do a Punnett square, but this Punnett square is not gonna be as big as before. Okay, we're gonna put big R small big Y big R big Y here, and small r small y. Please listen for a second. This is different from before. It has 2 alphabets here, but they are different alphabets, right? You just cannot have the same alphabet. You can have 2 R's or 2 Y's in the same spot, but one of each is okay because we are tracking 2 different characters here, right? So when we put it together, we will have always capital first, like that. Okay. So that means the F1, the first generation, it's going to be 100% big R, big Y, small y, which means they're 100% what? Right. Which again shouldn't be surprising because here, right? Parents that are pure, right, for 2 separate traits, if you cross them together, all of F1 is going to have the dominant trait. Okay? So just on a side note here again, okay, let's say I have gray mouse, and white mouse, and this one has long tail. White long, gray short. Okay. And then I 100% gray long. Then what does that tell you? That's right. Long is dominant over short. And what about color? Like that's it. Do you understand this? Only if the parents are pure, right? Pure and pure.
Why can't we write, R?
Over here, you mean? For this one? For this one? Why can't we write what?
The R.
Oh, it's just the way it is. Like they like to put the same gene together, right? Yeah, it's just, yeah. It's easier for you too, okay? Because then now you can cover this up and see, oh, this is round and this is yellow. Okay? Are you guys okay? You sure yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna do F2 now. I'm so sorry. Okay, F2. F2 means we have to take 2 individuals from F1 and we're gonna cross them together. And we're gonna take 2 individuals from F1 and we're gonna cross them together. But we're gonna write down the gametes first. Okay, I'll let you take a moment and do that, please.
Because that's the same going back also, so.
So, dalawa lang. O, dalawa lang. R, tsaka, dalawa lang. Big one, dalawang big one, dalawang big one. Yeah, tama. Big R, big R, small R. Yeah.
Big R, big Y, good, big R, small Y.
Big
R, big Y,
Abang big R.
small R, big Y.
Oh, it's like pieces.
Yeah, and I keep them consistent by the R.
Okay, I'll do it once. I'll do it.
Yeah, we only do the bar to separate the pair.
Oh, okay, okay.
I'll do it.
All right, listen, please. How do you come up with the gametes? Like this. Big R with the big Y. Okay, put a comma for the next one. Big R and small y. And then the last one. That's it. Okay. Now we're going to put a bar to separate one parent from the other parent. And it's the same, isn't it? Okay. Now this is the challenging part. Okay, you're going to do a table 5 by 5, and then we're going to put the gametes here. I'll come help you, okay? Just do this first. And then you have to put them together because after all, these are the gametes of one parent, the pollens, and then these are the eggs. Right? So like what are the possible combinations? You understand the gamete part?
Yeah.
Yeah, when you write it.
That's fine.
Do you understand how it yeah, that's it. Oh, you did that already. So now, what is it? Yeah. You have highlighter? Now find everything else that's also rounded. Round green, round yellow. The R's together and the Y's together. All right, out. No, you're fine, you're good, you keep going, yeah, but then this is good. Because you know, you have the R's together and the Y's together, you have to put the R's and the Y's together, that's like, that's okay. So, big R, and then big Y, okay? In the green box, now you're putting them together, right? You're the child. Big R, and then big Y. That is a round and yellow, right? Everything else that's also round and yellow. Okay, not that version. You understand what you're saying? Put them together, right? That's good. Okay, so what is this one? Oh, you have to put the R's and the Y's together, not like R, Y, but like R, Y, Y.
Nice.
Okay, so a lot of you are putting the letters, I mean, I think you get the right idea, but you just write it, kind of not quite correctly. You have to put the R's together and the Y's together, please. Okay, not R, Y like that. Okay, again, it might not seem like a big deal, but, you know, you got to do it properly, right? How about this one? Okay, you just do it, and then I'll do it, and then you check it, please. Okay, please check my work, because sometimes I make mistakes. One second.
Oh.
Don't worry, on the test, you don't have to do the 16 thing here, okay? I'm gonna give you a lesson on this to tell you how to use it without drawing it. Now, if you have this, then please take a look here, please. This first one, okay, what's the phenotype of that first one? Round and yellow. I want you to highlight everything that's round and yellow. If you're not sure, just use a pencil to put a dot next to it first. But basically, you're looking for something that has a big R and a big Y. Okay, so highlight all the round and yellow and tell me how many you found. Many. Sure.
How many? Excellent. Yeah. Sorry. What do you mean? Oh, the whole box is one.
So how many round and yellow? 9. All right. You need lots of colors for next semester, by the way, okay? If you don't already have some, buy some. Like, from Dollarama or something. Okay. Crayons and whatnot. Because I was walking around, I don't think a lot of you have highlighters and stuff. Anyway, this is 9 out of what? 16. Before I move on, I just want to check. Everybody understand why 9 out of 16? Okay. How about this one? What's this? Round and what? Round and green. Can we find all the round and green? Yeah. Remember, this is recorded, so if you need to watch it again to, slow it down a little bit, you certainly are encouraged to do so. 3 out of 16? How about this one? What is this one? How many wrinkle yellow? Three out of 16, right? And the last one? That's it. Wrinkled and green. One out of 16. Now, this is the takeaway message, okay? Takeaway message. Okay. Whenever on a test or on a quiz situation, you find yourself at a point where you need to do something like this, okay? Whenever in a question you find yourself having to do a 4x4 table, you do not do the 4x4 table. Instead, use the following trick, okay? The 4x4 table will always produce a ratio that's 9 to 3 to 3 to 1. Always. Okay. It doesn't matter what two trades you're talking about. You could be talking about grades and long tail, right? At any point, if you're doing a 4x4 table, it's going to be 9, 3, 3, 1. You need to memorize this. This should be your new passcode to your phone, okay? 9, 3, 3, 1. Now, what does it mean? 9, 3, 3, 1 means the following. The 9 is telling you if both trades are dominant, then you are going to have 9 out of 16 of them showing up, which is not surprising because dominant covers up recessive. Of course, they are going to be more common to show up in the offspring. Okay? The middle two numbers, the 3 and the 3, is talking about dominant recessive or recessive dominant. So in this case, either yellow wrinkle or green and round. Okay. So if only one trait is dominant, the other is recessive, then you have a 3 out of 16 chance of it showing up. And the most rare form that you will very unlikely find is recessive. Okay. So I'm going to give you a question here. I don't know what these are, doesn't matter, okay? What matters is they are pure. Okay, they're pure. And then F1, 100%. Okay, and then I want F2. What's the probability of, you know what, I'm gonna change the question. Okay. We're gonna, let's think these things breed like crazy and we have like, 5,000 of them and 5,000 offspring, whatever these are. And 5,000 offspring, what is the number of long neck plus triangle spots? I don't know. Okay, let's figure it out. You might think I have all the answers still up here, not really. So copy this down first. I'll walk you through it, okay? You don't have to join. You can, whatever. My point is, it doesn't matter what trait it is, okay? It doesn't have to be, yellow and green and white and whatever. But do you know what the traits are here actually? What are the two characters that we're looking at?
Long neck or neck.
That's right. So we have to see long versus short, and then circle versus triangle, right? Right. These are the two characters. Okay, I'll give you a moment to draw it. You have the solution? Yeah. Hold on, let me see. I'm not sure about the second part. Think about the second part. Oh. Okay, I have a very important question for you. Based on the F1, is long dominant or short dominant?
Oh,
These are the
short.
F1s.
Oh, wait, oh.
Is long neck dominant or short neck dominant? How do you know?
Short.
Yeah, remember, whatever the F1 is, that's the dominant one, right? Two parents that are pure for different traits will produce offspring that are dominant all the time, okay? So if the kids are all having short necks, then short is dominant, okay? This is dominant. Okay. Short is bigger than long, dominant, okay? What about the spots? Triangle or circle? Yeah, circle. Circle is dominant over time. Okay? So that means these things, F1 is probably big S, small s. You know what? Let's use N for neck, okay? Big N, small n. And then for the spots is gonna be big C, small c. Okay? So if we go on to F2, this is gonna create the table, right? As is like 2 times 2, 4 different possible gametes. And whenever you find yourself in a situation to do the table, don't do the table. 9, 3, 3, 1, right? Right? So we are asking for long neck. Is long neck dominant or recessive? Recessive. So we're looking for recessive. And what about triangle spots? Triangle is also recessive, right? Okay. So I'm looking for recessive. Which number represent recessive? 1. So 1 out of 16 offsprings will be recessive. Okay. And we are making 5,000 of these puppies, whatever they are. Gonna multiply them together, right? What's 5,000 divided by 16? 312. Approximately. Understand? Okay. Now, are you gonna get exactly 312? Probably not, because these are just probability, right? Just like if you flip a coin 10 times, You're not gonna get 5 heads, 5 tails necessarily, right? Okay, but it's gonna roughly. Do you understand? Okay, I'm gonna ask you to try this question. Hold on, where is it? Okay. Some of you didn't like the hypothetical giraffes, so I'm gonna give you real things now, okay? Work it out. Okay, true breeding means pure. Okay, do it together, please. Sorry. I noticed a typo. Yeah? Yes. You think you did it right? What's the answer? Yes. Yeah. Which way is it? B or E? Huh? B? E? E? Yeah. I actually I don't know. It's either D or E. I don't know. I don't remember.
No, but did I do it?
Is it?
Right, though, like.
I'll take it up. Don't worry.
Okay.
Anyone else? Or are you guys very lost? Yeah.
I think that kind of helped.
No, for it does. People think I'm joking. It's not. Okay, let's do it together again. All right. Look, first thing to do is to identify the characters. Just like you figure out it was the neck and the spots for the thing over there. What are the characters we're talking about? What versus what? Sure, red versus white. Okay, and then what's the other one? Axial versus terminal. Whatever that means, I don't even care, right? It has no bearing on the question. It's just two different things, right? Okay, but if you must know, axial means the flower kind of buds from the middle of the stem, but terminal, the flower buds at the end. Okay, but again, like it doesn't matter, right? The meaning is not relevant to the question. So then, is red dominant or is white dominant? How do you know? That's right, because we look at the F1s, right? Okay, F1s are red, so red is dominant. Is axial dominant or terminal? Axial, right? Because all the F1s are axial. Okay. Then we have basically big R, big A, small a, like that, right? Then it's time for the big table. So we write down 9, 3, 3, 1. What kind of traits are we looking for? Red and terminal. Red is dominant. Terminal is, so dominant recessive, 3, right? 3 over what? 3 over 16 times 1,000, which is 180 what? There you go. And then you choose like the closest number, right? You understand? Yes. If you get it, fantastic. If not, that's okay. You can ask me after class or, watch this again. I think I fry your brains, right? So hold on. I have this secret package for you guys, okay? And I even print it in pink so you're not gonna lose it. Right? Study this for the quiz, please. Okay? When is the quiz? Hold on, let me see. Is it next week? I don't remember. Huh?
Biotechnology.
Biotechnology is not on. Yeah.
Oh,
The eighth, you checked? Let me double check.